So Mirka, it's so nice that you told that story of like him personalizing the gift, like the hearts and everything.
Right.
Because the other thing he would do with gifts, of course, is that when you come into the room, he would give you the thing that the person before you had just given him, right?
Yes, very often.
People were always giving him things, and he would never hold on to them. He'd just give them away to the very next person who showed up. He gave me once this little box with a pen in it. I think I told the story at the event last year, and I opened the box and said, "Oh, isn't this wonderful?" And he didn't even know what was in the box. It was still wrapped up, and I opened the box and it was this color, like this maroon color, like a cross pen, like you get for your bar mitzvah. And I and I said, "Oh, thank you so much." He said, "Oh, yes, I thought that would be a good color for you." Like he went shopping for Leslie and he found this pen and thought this would be good for Leslie. He was very funny in this sort of subtle way that a lot of people. I don't know how much they got to see of that, but he had an impish kind of humor to him.
The question is, was he just a mirror for you and your impish humor?
Well, I don't know. You see, that's the thing. How he behaved with me one-on-one was what I got to experience. No one else got to experience that. I have no idea how he behaved in the room when he was one-on-one with other people. I mean, you hear stories and you see themes emerge, but that's the beauty of it. When you were alone in the room with him, you were the only universe at that moment, and that was special. That was very special,
Mm-hmm.
But then when you hear people tell stories, you can see that there was a method there, like the story that Richard told, about how he showed up in India for the first time and they just sat around and talked about the weather or where he was staying or the food or whatever, and the hour was up and it's like, bye, see you tomorrow. And the same thing started to happen again the next day. And finally Richard figured out, well, if I don't ask him a question, we're not going to talk about yoga. I have to ask a question. And there was like, how many teachers have the confidence just to sit there with someone that's flown halfway around the world, to study yoga and not talk about yoga until they, on their own, figure out that they're the ones that have to start asking questions. That takes a lot of chutzpah.
Yes.
Yeah. It's a Sanskrit word.
Well, I had, as you know, a very different relationship because I didn't flew to visit him actually around, and mostly I met him in Switzerland and then in the States. And one time after I had Matteo and so on, we haven't seen each other for a while. When we were alone, when he arrived, we were in Seattle at that time. He looked at me and said, I came here to have quality time with you. Tomorrow is a day for me, you, and Matteo. So many different things, It's like, okay, you haven't, it's time. He made a point. We had a day, and he wanted to get to know Matteo, and he wanted to, I guess, to be with me as a mother and to be together. So, yes, different relationship, different places. Or when he said, I want you and, Gary, you and I am going to write a book on meditation because you have a touch on the heart of people. It's like, oh, no. With me, he had a lot of that. But remember, I was a different kind of student because I came through being the wife of his beloved. And so I always felt from day one when Gary introduced me to him that he took me like, in a special way. Because anyway, that's what it seemed to me because it was so different how other people were.
Yeah.
With me, he felt he was soft. He will ask me things. He will ask me a lot of things about people, about what's happening around. What do you think about this? What do you think about that? Oh, interesting. And then, of course, I learned to speak my truth with him. When I was, my opinion or whatever I said, And one time I did that when there was another witness there, another student of his. Oh boy. Oh boy.
Was that so? Was that
boom? He told me something like, I said, sir, it seems like there's a lot of stress here, so what do you feel? Because really we talked, I had that kind of relationship. He asked my feedback. And then everything all of a sudden changed because there was another person, a student of his. And I guess that shifted. And he told me, he said, don't concern yourself with that. And of course, Mirka said, but sir, I know you can really do something here. And that was too much.
Huh.
Right? So now you hear another part. How he was also a diplomat.